Have you ever been gambling your 8th Counter-Strike case in a row and you realize, man, this company is kind of evil, and then you start thinking about all the other gaming companies and realizing that they're evil too, and so you create an entire tier list of every gaming company you can think of to organize them from most to least evil? Me neither. First company is 2K. They've made games like Borderlands and also the NBA 2K games, which means that they do that thing where they resell the same game every year but with a different year at the end. Kinda scummy, but not that evil. They get put in the microtransactions category. Naughty Dog. They've made games like The Last of Us, Uncharted, and Crash Bandicoot. Some of their games have microtransactions, but you can also earn all of the items without having to pay, so it's alright. They get put in the microtransactions category as well. Okay, I hate saying microtransactions, so I'm gonna rename it to the greedy category, but just know that I only put companies in there if the worst thing they do is microtransactions. Anyway, moving on. Next up is Bungie. They make the Destiny and Halo games. They have a fuck ton of DLCs that you have to pay a lot for, but honestly you can get them pretty cheap from Steam Key websites. I was just gonna put them in the greedy category, but apparently they have a bad workplace environment. An ex-Bungie dev had to speak out about the toxic work environment once, so I'm gonna put them in the evil category, honestly. Capcom. They made games like Resident Evil, Street Fighter, and Devil May Cry. People complain about the microtransactions in their games, but a lot of them can apparently be earned through the gameplay, so you don't technically need to pay if you actually play the game. They used to have a more negative reputation in the past, but have seemed to turn it around in the past decade or so. They're still getting put in greedy though. EA. Oh my god, bro. They made games like Battlefield, FIFA, and Madden. They sell sports games, which means once again, you have to buy the same game every year if you want to keep playing. And they also have an aggressive amount of microtransactions. There was a meme back in the day where EA would just spam you with microtransactions. Like, they popularized that shit. And because they popularized microtransactions, I'm gonna put them in the evil category. Epic Games. Epic Games made games like Fortnite, Gears of War, and the Unreal Engine. If you've ever played Fortnite, you know that it has a bunch of microtransactions and that a lot of this stuff's marketed towards kids. But they made Unreal Engine 5, which is actually really cool, except for the fact that it runs like shit. They also let Fortnite just become overloaded with brain rot, which kind of makes me really sad. But on the Epic Games Store, they've offered games like GTA 5 for free before, so I don't think they're that evil. I just think they're greedy. Oh, you guys been waiting for this one. Roblox. Oh my god. They have a fuck ton of microtransactions that aren't regulated well because it's user-made content. They have no regulation for slop or AI art on their website, a bunch of pedos, and oh, if you try to get those pedos arrested for what they do on Roblox, you get banned! I don't have to say anything else. Pure evil. Rockstar Games. They made all the GTA games and the Red Dead Redemption games, which are really good games. Their games do have microtransactions, sadly, but I mean, at this point in this video, you're probably gonna realize that all of them have microtransactions, and that is true with the exception of like 2 companies. Apparently they like really overwork their employees, like 80-hour work weeks and shit, so that's not great. Also, GTA 6 is taking forever, and because of this, I'm gonna put them in the evil category, but maybe they can redeem themselves later. Mojang Studios. They made Minecraft, and that's about it. I mean, they have other games, but nobody really cares about them that much. If Mojang Studios only made the Java version of Minecraft, it would be the easiest not evil category in my life, because that game is great, it has modability, and there's no microtransactions. But they also made the Bedrock version of Minecraft, which has microtransactions, and it's just sad. You have to pay for so much stuff in that game that you wouldn't have to pay for anyways, and it just is a worse game. I already made a video on this, but the game is just like super buggy, and this is something that still has not been fixed even a year later. They also take forever to make updates to their games, but I don't think that makes them evil, and apparently employees really like working there. But overall, they are way better than their cousin Roblox, which almost makes me want to put them in the not evil category. Okay, fuck it, I'm gonna put it in the not evil category. It's my video, I'm biased, alright. Playtika. I'm not gonna lie, I did not know about this company before I started working on this video. I just looked up list of game companies on Google, and that's where I got all of these from. But if you look into Playtika, it's mostly just mobile gambling games, which is not great, which of course that means their games have microtransactions. I think these are a little bit worse than microtransactions though, because gambling ruins lives. So I'm gonna move it up into the evil category. Krafton. They made Subnautica and PUBG, which are both really great games from what I've heard. They do have microtransactions. Once again, I don't even know why I'm saying this every time. They are going through some shit right now with apparently delaying Subnautica 2 to avoid paying a $250 million payout. Also, there are concerns of AI being used. I don't know how to feel about Craft, and I'm just gonna put them in evil to be safe. Microsoft. Oh my fucking god. I hate Microsoft. There's so many issues with Windows in general. This isn't even related to the gaming company. I'm gonna go off the cuff here. Is that the right word? Cuff? I don't know. I'm just gonna start ranting though. Microsoft forced everybody everybody to upgrade from Windows 10 to Windows 11, and then they just broke shit that was never fixed. Like, I still have this issue with screen recording full screen applications to this day, and it has not been fixed. I've been on Windows 11 for like a year, but on Windows 10, it worked perfectly fine. I don't know. Anyways, on to what's actually relevant for the video. They have a history of unfair business practices. They take all our data and sell it to advertisers, and Bill Gates cheated on his wife. So I think it's a firm evil placement. Bandai Namco Games. They made games like Pac-Man, Tekken, and Katamari Damacy. They do have microtransactions, but like, that's it. I think they just get the overall greedy category. Maybe they do deserve not evil, but like, I'm just not the biggest Bandai Namco fan. This is my video. I do whatever I want. Next up, Nintendo. Okay, so Nintendo is a really interesting one. On one hand, they have a bunch of good IPs like Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, and most of their games don't have microtransactions, which is a fucking first for this video. Holy shit. It's just the mobile ones that have microtransactions, but I mean, like, that's just a norm for mobile games, so I don't care. But on the other hand, they have high prices, lack of quality control, and if you dare to upload a pirated version of a Nintendo game online, they will send out hitmen to come to your home and kill you and stage it as a suicide. I'm kidding about that, but yeah, they're pretty greedy. Okay, here's the thing about Nintendo is like they do something really cool, and then the next week they're like, we're gonna reintroduce measles into society, and then they just get back in that evil spot once again. So I'm gonna put them in the evil spot. Riot Games, they made Valorant straight to pure evil tier. I have trauma associated with that game. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna grade them fairly. Once again, all of their games have microtransactions. Their anti-cheat is really invasive, and apparently they've had some workplace issues, so I guess they end up being in the evil tier anyway. Scopely is my fucking op. I already made an entire video on why I hate them. It's actually my most viewed video. But if you haven't watched that, they basically just advertise gambling to children, and their headquarters are starting to mold. I think it's just like the evil aura. It's just a very solid evil spot. I don't have much to say. But if you are interested, I do have a whole video on it, and I'll link it down below. Sony has some good games that they've published, like Spider-Man and God of War. They of course have microtransactions, which, I mean, what do we expect? When researching Sony, it said there was human rights abuse being done by Sony, but then they also won an award for being one of the most ethical companies, so I don't really know what to make of that. The PS5, as we all know, has no games, and a lot of games require subscriptions to play online. But you know what a better subscription would be? Subscribing to my channel. Yeah, do it, please. I need it. Anyway, Sony is definitely not as bad as some other companies, though. They're sure as hell better than Microsoft, so I'm gonna put them in the greedy section. Square Enix. Square Enix is the company that made all the Final Fantasy games. Like usual, their games have microtransactions in them. Apparently, they supported NFTs at one point, but I couldn't find anything like super bad on them, so I'm just gonna put them in the greedy tier. Tencent. They made PUBG Mobile and Call of Duty Mobile, which I think they're decent games, at least from what I've heard. But because they make mobile games, they do have a fuck ton of microtransactions, and some of those are supposedly pay to win. And according to the US, they apparently have ties to the Chinese military, but Tencent denies this, and also the United States government just lies all the time, so who knows. They also published that one game that I keep seeing on TikTok where it just has the most absurd parkour mechanics ever. But because they do pay to win though, I think that's enough to place them in the evil category. Ubisoft, or is it Ubisoft? I have no idea. Ubisoft has made games like the Assassin's Creed series, but most notably, Michael Jackson The Experience. This game was my childhood. Like always, they have microtransactions, but I don't think to my knowledge they have anything definitive that makes them evil, at least not more evil than other gaming companies, so they just get put in the greedy place. Valve. Valve is such an interesting one because on one hand, there's so many positive things they've done, but then there's also a very greedy thing that they've done that I really dislike. On the positive side, they made games like Half-Life, Portal, Counter-Strike, all of those genre-defining games, by the way, shaping the entire fucking gaming market. They made history. They also made Steam, which is like the most consumer-friendly place to buy games ever. Also, when they sell hardware, it's for a fair price. Their customer service is amazing. But the thing that I don't like about them is that Counter-Strike 2 has a gambling feature, and gambling is just really bad. But they're also the only reason why gaming is bearable in the current day and age, so I think I'm gonna look past some of their shortcomings and give them a not evil category. All right, it's my own video. I'm a bit biased. I'm sorry. So this is the final tier list. If there are any companies I missed or any mistakes I made or something like that, please leave a comment letting me know. I kind of speed ran researching for this video, so I'm sure there are mistakes. But that's all I have for now. If you enjoyed, please watch some of my other videos and subscribe. Bye!